Hey, welcome back. We have bolts. Let's get back at it. What's going on, everybody? The bolts have finally arrived, so we can get the lifter trays installed and continue the process of putting this LS back together. So, all right, let's not dilly-dally. Let's get these lifters put in. All right, this part's pretty simple. These are the lifter trays for an LS that hold the lifters down in the engine. And pretty much you stick your lifters in there and then put them down in the engine and just make sure you have your tray the right direction, otherwise you're going to break something. Alright, there you go. That's all there is to it. And just remember, the two humps are down, one hump up. And then they just slide down into the guides. Just like that. And then you put your retainer bolt in, snug that down, and that's all there is to it. So we knock out that, and then we'll get prepped for putting the head gasket and the heads back on this thing. Got the lifter trays all installed and just popped on the new head gaskets. This part's pretty self-explanatory. If you can read the letters and you know which way is the front, you know which way it goes on. So let me grab the heads now. They're all done, all double springed and ready to go. And let's throw these suckers on there and get them torqued down and ready to go. Do a quick wipe down real quick. You want to make sure your surfaces are definitely clear before you go sticking these on there. All right. This is the passenger side. So much easier when it's out of the truck. Got a couple of these on there just so we make sure it's not gonna fall off. Yeah. Okay. If you're at this point, you know you probably need to go look up your torque specs. So I'll let you do that. I can't remember offhand. It's like there's steps. And then of course you basically start from the inside, work your way around. So I'll have to look at the diagram real quick to be sure. And then of course at the last turn you do a 90-degree turn once you've got a torque to spec. But you're working on your stuff. I'll let you look up your torque specs. But let me get these bolted down, torque to spec, and then we'll be back. All right, we got all the cylinder heads torqued down. Now get these new pretty push rods in here. Now they actually put their name on every one of them. This is pretty self-explanatory. Just make sure you get it in the lifter. let me get the rocker cradle. Actually, let me find the rocker cradles. I hope they're here. I'll be back. Okay, found them. Even labeled which side they were. I'm gonna clean these up real quick because these are nasty. So be back in just a second again. All right, got the trays cleaned up. And of course they just set on there. And you put your rockers on. These were laying in the floorboard, so they were nice and dirty, so I blasted them, cleaned them up, made them good again. We're going to just, of course, just barely get the bolts started so we can do the, at least get it aligned, and then we can come back and do the torque settings, or the valve lash settings. So let me get this done, and then we'll come back whenever we're setting our valve lash. Okay, let me show you a quick demonstration on setting the valve lash on an LS, which is very easy. Now you got to remember this is an LS, so the firing order is not 18436572. It's actually 18726543. So what you can do in order is, we have it at TDC right now, and you can verify that by putting a straw or something in here, making sure you're at the top, and then all you do is set your number 1 to 22 foot-pounds, and then what you can do is slightly turn the engine, stick your straw or whatever in each of the cylinders. So we know next is going to be 8, so then we'll put a straw in 8, watch it come up to the top, and then once it's at TDC, then we will torque that to 22, and then we'll move on to 7, and then we just work our way around. And then we'll rotate it a few times, make sure there's no interference, and that's all there is to it on an LS. So let me mount the camera, and then I'll show you guys, I guess, a quick demonstration of setting the valve lash. I don't have a straw at the moment, so I am using a piece of copper because it's soft. But we're at number 1 right now, so we know number 8 is going to be next. So what we'll do is turn the engine till it's at TDC. It's on its way up. On its way down. All right, so right there, it's right at the top. And then we'll just set both of these to 22 foot-pounds. That's it. And then we'll move on to number 7. So let me knock all these out real quick, and then we'll be back. All right, got them all torqued. And now we're going to turn the engine just a couple times, make sure everything's good, got no interference, everything's moving. All right. Beautiful. Okay, that's set. We can go ahead and clean up the valve covers and get those back on here. All right, the valve covers are cleaned up and on with new gaskets. Got that done. May go ahead and get the water pump on here. And unfortunately, I can't put it in yet because we need to change that torque converter. Now, from what I can tell by the sticker and looking at it, 4L60 transmission, everybody that knows anything about the 4L60 knows they have a very short lifespan. They tend to blow up. So I'm sure that one's either new or rebuilt. So that's good, new transmission. But in doing more research on that camshaft we stuck in here, which by the way, one of our viewers let me know what that cam is, more about it, and what the BFD stands for. It's not family friendly, but let me put it this way. It stands for Bigfoot's Richard, if you catch my drift. So that indicates why at the end of the camshaft is a etched Bigfoot with a hole in the middle. So yeah, way to go, Texas Speed. Good to know that that's in this engine. But based on the specs of that camshaft, it requires a heavier stall torque converter, 3200 or higher. So I found a company that makes them, can't remember the name offhand, but out of Chicago. They make a, it's a racing torque converter with a 3200 to 3500 stall. So ordered that. Based on tracking, should be here tomorrow, and we'll be able to put that in. So we've got to get the torque converter in the truck, otherwise this camshaft with this configuration is not going to perform. Yeah, and I've listened to some videos of that camshaft, and I dig it. It's going to sound pretty good. Apparently it's going to burn the tires off the truck, but the truck won't have any pulling power. But I'm fine with that because I don't plan on pulling much with this truck. If I need to pull something, I'll use Swamp Thing. And for those people that were telling me just to get rid of Swamp Thing, no. That was my dad's truck. He gave it to me. It's not going anywhere. I've got plans for that truck too. Either converting it to a 454, or my ultimate dream of what to do with that would be to do a Duramax swap. So in the future, might be shopping Copart for a total Duramax and doing a swap, because that would be a very killer truck with a Duramax in it. And it would definitely be a lot stronger than that little 350, because I've got it set up for fifth wheel, gooseneck, and bumper pull. It pulls okay, but I mean, that engine is also tired, 200 and something thousand miles on it. But so no, not getting rid of Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is staying here. That will be work truck. But all right, I guess that's going to wrap up for today. And we'll be back Thursday. So Thursday morning we'll be back, hopefully, if the torque converter shows up, we'll be back tackling this thing. So for you, a few seconds. Good morning. It's been a few days, and 2 days ago we went to the old graveyard, me and the oldest, Vivian. If you missed that video, it's the last one. But we're back on the Avalanche, and today we're gonna get this torque converter out of here. Now from what I'm seeing, this was a rebuild. So that torque converter's new. But we now have this one, which is a 3200 to 3500 stall. We need to get the other one out, put it next to this one, make sure everything's gonna match the height and all that. Because if not, we've got to shim it and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's pull that blue one out of there and get the bad boy in there. All right. God, that was heavy. Alright, everything in there looks good. Yeah, there's the markings. So yeah, this is it looks like a rebuild. Maybe new. Huh. I don't know. These people look like they had money, so they may very well have bought a new one. But alright, let's get this sucker out of here and do a measurement comparison, make sure everything's going to match up. All right, here's our old one. The new one has this adapter plate. This one's also more narrow. I can't remember the size difference. I think this is a 11, and that's probably a 15, 14, somewhere in there. I don't know. But bolt pattern, I checked that. It does match. But we need to check the height and see what we got going on there. So the height on this one looks like it's right at 7 inches. This one, let's see. Looks like it is at 7 inches. Okay, we can go ahead and get this one put in, and then we'll clean the engine bay, and then we'll get the motor dropped back in. Now, pause. We're gonna do the water pump before we drop the engine back in. Maybe. I don't know. It's early. Kids out of school today, so I get to do this all day today and hopefully get a lot accomplished. So we'll get this bad boy in there. Come on. There we go. There we go. I think it's got one more click in it, I believe. Maybe? Huh. Maybe it popped all the way in. It's throwing me off on the depth because of this ring. This doesn't. We'll start over. One. Alright, I guess that's it. I'll have to look at the depth. We're about roughly just under an inch. I'll check on the engine, make sure we are good. You definitely want that all the way in. Let me go check the depth of the flywheel on the back of the engine and make sure we're about there. Okay, checked it with a tape measure, it's in. Should be good. Okay, I'm going to take a break real quick and start hosing down this engine bay, getting all this grease and leaves out of here and clean this up. I'm not going to bore you with some quick pressure washing, so we'll tune back in when I'm done with that. Got everything all cleaned up and pretty-ish. So I think we're going to go ahead and get this bad boy dropped back in there. So let me get the hoist set up and get that all prepped, and yeah, so cue the music. A little bit of wiggling, a little bit of up and down. It is in. It is up against the transmission. So I'm going to get in there, get a few of the bolts started on the bell housing, get that set, and then we get the motor mounts bolted back in, and then we will pick back up from there. Be back in a second. Okay, here's where we are. I got under the truck, did 2 of the bell housing bolts. While I was under there, went ahead and hooked up the torque converter, got it bolted to the flywheel, hooked up the sensors under there, threw the starter on, and then came to the top. And was taking the lift plate off the valley there on the top of the engine. And I dropped a washer down the intake into a valve that happened to be open. So it went all the way down into the cylinder, number 4. Well, I thought it was number 6. So yeah, I thought I saw it fall into number 6. So being that the washer is bigger than the spark plug hole, you can't fish it out. Therefore, I had to rip the passenger side head off. Found the washer, found out it was in 4, not 6. And then I grabbed the head gasket to put it back on, sliced my finger wide open like a razor blade. So I've got like 4 band-aids wrapped around it, went back to work. And so yeah, got the head torqued back on, got the rockers reset, retorqued down, and so this wouldn't happen again. I went ahead and put the valley plate on, knock sensors, and intake, because I don't need anything else falling down in that engine, because that took up a lot more time than I needed to. So that's where we are. I haven't done anything else other than go backwards a lot and then tighten up a few things, throw the intake on. And so I think I'm going to call it a day for today, because I am now whipped and angry and tired and hungry, which hungry is probably causing a lot of the issues. So we'll tune back in probably first thing in the morning when I've recouped, and then put all this back together. I got to go run to town a little bit, go by our business, do payroll and stuff, so I figured I'll run by, grab new oil filter, oil, spark plugs, and maybe some brake cleaner and stuff like that, but we're almost there, I think. Yeah. Okay. I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. Actually, took a first and slept in a little bit. But here we are. We're actually out in the back pasture because I noticed yesterday the Avalanche is missing a few various little bolts that are actually important. And I started thinking, you know, instead of trying to always hunt these things down and taking longer to work on this thing, I've got this piece of junk sitting here with a good engine. Transmission's shot, it backs up real good, but I'm gonna see if we can get this thing fired up, hopefully move, get it up by the garage, because I can use it for some parts and also a reference just in case I get stuck on maybe where they had the loom hooked up or anything like that. Well, here's a reference because this one's complete. The other reason I want to move this up by the garage is because this engine needs to come out of this thing because the truck's going to scrap. The engine got plans for. Not going to tell you yet, but got a good engine here. The truck is junk. And this is an old game warden truck. That's why it's got spotlight and whatever else on it. But yeah, let's see if we can get this thing fired up. It hasn't started. I haven't started it in quite a while, so it's probably gonna be fun. But let's see what happens. All right, let's try out this little JF Igwo jump box. They had sent us this a while back for you know, testing and reviewing. I'm an honest reviewer, and I'm not going to just say great things about a product that's sent to us to try out. Now with this, it's all right. It's also an air compressor. It's good if you're in a pinch. It'll give you a few starts. It's not as good as, you know, any of the bigger Milwaukee brands or anything like that. But for something cheap and inexpensive, one thing I don't like is they don't have an official store. You can only find these things on like eBay. But yeah, it's a JF iGlow 2000 amp little jump pack and tire inflator. I've used it quite a bit, but like I said, it's good for a few jumps. The air compressor is actually pretty decent, especially for something battery operated. But let's see if it'll start a battery that is completely dead. Okay. We got a green light, so that means it should be all right. And here's the key. So let's see if this thing will start. And that's the problem I run into. One jump, it shouldn't be dead already. But it is. So, definitely works better as an air compressor. Pretty sure it'll start if we had a real jump pack. Okay. So there you go. There's my review. Got a battery. Threw it in there. Should start now. Let's see what happens. I got my fancy key here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, maybe. I got brakes. I don't know why the brake light's on. It's charging. Got oil pressure. All right. There we go. There's no telling how old this gas is because this thing has been sitting since I think it was parked in like 21, and I'm guessing it was parked because of the transmission. So another free truck we got. I only wanted it because I wanted the engine. The truck itself, seats are all right. The rest of the truck, not so much. And yeah, it's a no option truck. But all right, let's see if we can get this thing up to the garage. You gonna move for me at all? Nope. Oh, really? Well, oh. Had it in reverse. Let's try first gear. No. Brake is not on. There we go. Oh. And it died again. Reverse works pretty good. So we'll just do reverse all the way back to the garage. Yeah, reverse is perfect. Cut this corner. I think we can make it. I think we can make it. Don't die. Don't die. Oh. Got it. Okay. Yeah, we're cutting it a little close over here. I don't know where I'm worried about hitting anything. Thank you. Okay, we're moving. Let me go ahead and help the kiddo get this other gate, get it back to the garage, and then we'll proceed to the next step. There we go. Now we got parts and a reference. And then I can get this motor out of here and get the Iceman to take it bye-bye. And I think it's loud because he may have already robbed the cats off of it. I don't know. We get a lot of cats around here and he likes cats. So, say hi.
Hi.
All right, let me get all this situated and then we'll jump back in on Loretta. Went ahead and got the hard part out of the way. Got the AC compressor mounted back on there and wired back up. I'm gonna tackle the water pump next. And it's the one that came off of it and everything seems fine with it. Of course, we're gonna change the thermostat out. So let me knock that out real quick. Nothing exciting. 2 bolts, thermostats in there. And then clean this thing up a little bit. And let's get this thing mounted back on the front of that engine. All right, I went ahead and put some goop on here because even though these gasket seals have like a rubber seal on them, I've seen them fail. So just better be safe than sorry. Dinner's ready. All right, I'll go ahead and knock out the rest of these. Pretty boring stuff. New thermostat is in. So we'll get that done. That feels good. That feels fine. Okay, yeah, let me get the rest of these bolts in and then we'll be back for the next step. Abracadabra. The only thing missing is fans and shroud and upper radiator hose. Everything else, I believe, is done. I figured that was all boring stuff. Throwing in spark plugs, hooking up all the connectors, putting belts on, that's all standard stuff. I think it's about time we try to fire this thing up. I did throw oil in it, threw some Mobile One flavor in there, new Wix filter, some Iridium spark plugs, the Indica brand, and yeah, let's, where's my key? Let's see what this thing does. Battery's got charge. Exhaust is hooked up, O2s are hooked up. I think everything's done. I'm not running across like any extra parts except for like plastic clips and stuff like that, but we're not there yet. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna put you outside the truck, that way you can watch just in case it blows up. let's see. Well, we don't know how old this fuel is, and also let's make sure it's getting fuel. Push on this little Schrader valve and see if anything comes out of it. Should have pressure right now. Yep. Why does it smell like alcohol? Let's yeah, it doesn't smell like gasoline. It smells like like racing alcohol or something. They better not have put that in there. Let me get my spark tester. We'll see if we're getting spark. I was going to use those new wires he had for this thing, but they are too short. See if I can turn the key and actually see this thing. All right. No spark. All right. Let me make sure I got everything hooked up. I hooked the crank sensor up. Let me check the cam sensor. Yeah, let me double check and I'll be right back. Okay, started digging around under the hood to see if I missed anything. I did. One ground wire, which I have a feeling is probably going to be the problem. I hope it's the problem. But let's try and start this thing up again. What is the deal? We are getting a code, and it's for a module communication error. Yeah, this is why I don't like computerized stuff. Okay, we'll tune back in just a minute. Hopefully we can trace down what's going on with this thing. I'll probably do another spark test on it, make sure see if we're getting spark. But I don't know. We'll be back. Well, it's 2 or 3 days later, and as you can see, it's yeah, dark. So for the past couple of days, I've been all over this truck trying to figure out why it's not sparking. I checked all the ground wires. I even ripped the intake off and checked all those wires. I mean, I went through everything. Nothing. I was just about to give up, and I was like, you know what? Let me crawl under the truck and see what's going on under there. Lo and behold, found a very gnarled ground wire, and checked the resistance on it. It's dead. So I looked up what that wire was, and it's the ignition coils. So we're about to try this again. Maybe upset the neighbors. But let's see if this thing starts. You have to bear with me. I am worn out. I am cut up. Yeah. Let's see if this thing is going to start now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take you in the truck with me. Finally got the windows up, so that's good. Because we got a lot of rain apparently coming. All right. Everything's lighting up good. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. It's trying. Oh, that is a crazy cam. There we go. I definitely need to tune it. Yeah. And I haven't put coolant in it yet, so I definitely need to do that. Oh. Well, I'm stoked. I'd be more energetic about it if I wasn't running on lack of sleep. Took a break this morning. Whatever, I probably just lost that key. Took a break this morning to take the Zombug, and me and the kiddo went to a little car meet. Went and did that, and then came back, and I've been at this ever since, and it's currently, I don't know, probably after 8. But, yeah. So, I think we're going to wrap up this video. I'm not going to let you watch me tune this thing, because you won't learn nothing. You'll probably lose brain cells, because it's going to be probably a lot of experimenting and probably reaching out to some of my buddies that do that stuff. So we'll see. But I'm going to get some much needed rest, because I do have to get up and take the kid to school in the morning. But want to say thank you, love you guys. Y'all have been fantastic. Y'all put us well over the 15,000 mark and still climbing, so we really appreciate that, because the more love you show us, the more you watch us, the more we can do. So please keep it up. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.